Time now for a look at today's business news, and we're starting with a new era and a new man at the aviation giant Boeing. Cole Stangler from our business desk is here to tell us more. Cole.
That's right, Thomas. The company's new CEO finally takes the reins today. His name is David Calhoun, a member of the board of directors since 2009, also a former managing director at private equity firm Blackstone. Grace period, though, is not expected to last very long. Boeing is now undergoing one of the most turbulent periods in the company's storied history, with its 737 MAX jets grounded worldwide following 2 fatal crashes. Now, Calhoun's biggest task will be to get those jets back up into the skies. First off, last month, the company took the extraordinary step of halting production of the plane as it waits for the green light from regulators. Boeing's also, of course, been accused of misleading government officials over the safety of the 737 MAX. The new CEO will be expected to win back confidence from regulators. The firm is also facing a bigger image problem, and one that was only deepened by the release of embarrassing internal emails last week. Those found the company's own employees mocking the plane's design and public oversight. So clearly no shortage of challenges there for David Calhoun. Now, next up here in France, the government has unveiled a major concession in its plan to overhaul pensions. Over the weekend, Prime Minister Edouard Philippe announced he'd be scrapping a proposal to hike the earliest possible retirement age with full benefits from 62 up to 64. That concession was designed to appease moderate unions with the hopes of bringing an end to a nearly 40-day-long strike movement. Here's the Prime Minister.
Whether it's the trade unions, the employers' organizations, or the government, it took us time to move our positions and make them evolve, to take a step towards one another. And that's the logic of a compromise. It's not a step backwards. A compromise is a step forward. You need everybody to move, and it took a bit of time for everybody to do so.
Now, that compromise was due in large parts of France's CFDT union, the country's largest, and it places a premium on dialogue with employers and the government. On the other hand, it's the more militant CGT union that's been largely leading the strikes. It still wants the whole reform package tossed out, and it's vowing to keep striking until that happens. Here's how one CGT rail worker reacted to the government's concession.
This pivot age of 64 that they have presented is just a red herring that they are going to show to the world to hide what is behind it all.
Let's take a look now at the day's trading action. The markets in Japan are closed due to public holiday, but the major Asian indices posting some modest gains to kick off the week. As you can see here, shares on the Hang Seng over in Hong Kong up over 1%. Same story on the Kospi in Seoul. Shanghai Composite, meanwhile, also showing some gains up nearly 0.75%. It's all as investors look ahead to the signing of a so-called Phase 1 trade pact between the U.S. and China. That's expected to take place on Wednesday. Now, earlier, France 24 spoke with market analyst Stephen Innes. He explained just how investors are approaching that deal between the U.S. and China.
It's providing a pretty good springboard for risk sentiment today, although, pretty modest expectations around the breakthrough of any of the more material issues. So I think the bar is quite high for any disappointment here. I think what we're going to be expecting is China to commit to those agricultural products, those hefty imports of agricultural products that have been in the news for the past few weeks. We're looking for some type of enforcement mechanism and also some information around the currency pact, although my view here on the currency pact is quite neutral, given the fact that I do believe the PBOC is going to keep the yuan on a strengthening tangent as we move forward into the Phase 2. So, yeah, pretty good feel. You can see the Asian equity markets are doing quite well. Asian currency markets are getting a lot of inflow. So this is a pretty positive outlook that we have, at least to start the week so far.
Next up, a report at the Financial Times. Citing several sources, the newspaper says senior executives at Nissan have ramped up secret contingency planning for a potential breakup with partner Renault. It involves gaming out a, quote, total divide in engineering and manufacturing, as well as changes to Nissan's board. Some of the Japanese automaker reportedly believe the alliance with Renault is increasingly a drag. Tensions between the two have also run especially high following the arrest of former chairman Carlos Ghosn, who since fled to Lebanon. And finally, an unusual proposal from a Japanese billionaire. 44-year-old Yusaku Maezawa says he's looking for a female life partner to accompany him on the first civilian trip around the moon. That flight's overseen by the firm SpaceX. And Maezawa has put up a website where people can apply for one of those spots, for that spot with him. Requirements include being a single woman over 20 and wishing for world peace, also enjoying space, an important condition. Final decision to be announced in March. Thomas, it should be said, does actually leave quite some time before that actual flight to the moon that's taking place in 2023. So.
Okay, Cole Stangler with the latest business news. Thank you.